Hi there, and welcome to Wits News, where we ask ourselves, what is this shit? I'm your host, Ole. Now let's get into some shit news.
Local Portland news channel KGW News puts out a post reassuring the public that Donald Trump's claim that border bill would have allowed 5K people into the U.S. per day is misleading. Oh yeah, KGW? Let's just see what they got to say about that. It says right here, and this is posted by KGW8. Trump's claim that border bill would have allowed 5K people into the U.S. per day is misleading. The bipartisan bill, which failed to pass in the U.S. Senate, would have fast-tracked deportations and provided funding to Ukraine and Israel. Ukraine and Israel? The what's that got to do with our border? Oh, so we could protect their border and the money laundering interests of certain governmental elites. Is that what it is? What's going on here? Why are we providing funding to Ukraine and Israel when we're trying to protect our own border? What does that got to do with it? Is Ukraine a state? Is Ukraine a state? One of the United States of America? Are they even an ally? Are they even a part of NATO? I'm confused. Let's look a little deeper into this. It says bipartisan group of senators proposed a multi-billion-dollar bill to provide foreign aid to Ukraine and Israel while also overhauling U.S. border security. Oh, it's so nice of them to think of us. But on Thursday, February 7th, Senate Republicans blocked the border proposal, which had momentum in Congress until former President Donald Trump and several of his allies voiced their opposition to it. I'm glad somebody did. What else we got going on here? Trump claimed the bill would allow 5,000 migrants into our country a day, claimed the bill's chief sponsor, Senator James Lankford, Republican of Oklahoma, denied. Boy, he sounds like a rhino. Yeah, Republicans bill, huh? The question: would the bipartisan border bill have allowed 5,000 migrants into the United States per day? Good question. The answer: the claim is misleading. The bill would have given Border Patrol agents the ability to immediately deport people once agents encounter an average of 5,000 migrants per day over the course of a week. But an encounter isn't the same as letting someone into the U.S. It's not? Well, of course not, because wouldn't they already be in the U.S. for the Border Patrol to be encountering them? Kind of tricky how they did that there, isn't it? I mean, you actually really got to read what it says. I guess a lot of people don't. Okay, maybe I should read that again. This claim is misleading. The bill would have given Border Patrol agents the ability to immediately deport people once agents encounter an average of 5,000 migrants per day over the course of a week. But an encounter isn't the same as letting someone into the U.S. Well, no shit, Sherlock. That's because they're already here. How else would they be? Is our Border Patrol encountering people in Mexico? I don't think our Border Patrol would be on that side of the fence, would they? Isn't the same as letting someone into the U.S. Well, they must have let him in. How else would they encounter him? Right. Let's just see what else it's got to say. What we found. Under existing immigration laws, migrants who cross the border legally or illegally can request asylum and then are released into the U.S. while they await a hearing on the validity of their claim, which can take years. Yeah, that's because there's so many of them here. The Senate proposal would have overhauled the system. Instead of being released after entering the U.S., most migrants claiming asylum would have been detained. And instead of waiting years for a formal hearing, they would receive a first pass interview within 90 days. Oh, if they show up, right? The bill also would have put stricter criteria in place for asylum eligibility, and applicants not meeting that threshold would have been sent into expedited deportation proceedings. The bill included billions of dollars to hire more staff at the border, but the bill authors recognized the proposed protocols would overwhelm the current system. That's why they drafted a provision called Border Emergency Authority. The provision is where the 5,000 number comes from. The emergency authority would give border agents the power to immediately turn away any migrants they encounter at the border without hearing their asylum claims. This would go into effect when the number of encounters surpasses a certain threshold, either an average of 5,000 per day over the course of a week, or 8,500 in a single day. Huh? This would go into effect when the number of encounters surpasses a certain threshold, either an average of 5,000 per day over the course of a week, or 8,500 in a single day. So anything over 5,000 per day, and then they would start deporting them, or 8,500 in so anything over 8,500 in a single day, or when the average over the course of a week is over 5,000, and then they would start expediting deportation proceedings. What the hell? Huh? I wonder if KGW might be illiterate. I mean, you don't even have to know how to read to graduate in Oregon, right? So I guess maybe this is the effects of that. Let's look a little deeper into this. Once activated, this emergency authority would not be lifted until the average number of encounters over the course of a week drops below 3,750. Until that number is reached, Border Patrol would not process any new unscheduled asylum claims. Asylum seekers with scheduled appointments at dedicated ports of entry would still have been able to have their claims processed while the authority is activated. Huh. The U.S. Customs and Border Patrol data shows that encounters are currently above the 5,000 threshold and have been for almost all of the last 3 years. That means if the bill had passed, the emergency authority would have almost immediately taken effect and resulted in faster deportations. But haven't they been telling us all this time that there was no emergency at the border? That nothing was going on at the border? I'm really confused. The Border Emergency Authority was modeled after the Trump administration's use of Title 42, which applied a public health statute to allow border agents to reject migrants at the border without hearing asylum claims during the COVID-19 pandemic. Because the authority would not have automatically gone into effect until the 5,000 encounter threshold is reached, critics of the bill have claimed it would have effectively allowed 5,000 people to enter the U.S. per day. That's misleading. But it says right there, over a course or 8,500 in a single day. And then this would take effect. So what is misleading? That they would allow 8,500 per day instead of 5,000? That what's misleading? Not all border encounters are asylum seekers, and a significant percentage of people requesting asylum are denied and deported. But what's the amount of time until that happens right now? If in theory all 5,000 encounters were different people, each claiming asylum, those claims would be processed under the bill. However, the applicants would not be simply let into the country. Single adults would be detained, and families with children would be placed in monitoring programs until their initial interview. Was that the end of it? That's the end of it. That's the end of it. So that's it. That's the end of it. That's. So where did Trump lie? I don't understand. Because the number's higher. How does this make any sense to anybody? If in theory all 5,000 encounters were different, each claiming asylum, you know what? Let's read some of the comments from the locals. We never seem to be disappointed there. Man, this was posted February 17th, 2024. 11,000 views, 95 comments. Straight to Crypto says, y'all got any more of those journalism layoffs? Duck Zone 503 says it right in the bill, though. Laughy face emoji with tears coming out. Robert Frisbee says, the bill gives them the ability to turn asylum seekers away if they experience 5,000 encounters or more per day for 7 or more days. So all they have to do is not encounter them. And then Biden doesn't need to use his option to have them barred. Hey man, 5K people have come through today. Come back tomorrow. This is just begging to be abused. It also provides a third country provisions, which means they are not required to submit for asylum in the first country they visit. The answer is no. Come through legally or not at all. I agree. Jason Badman writes, no, telling people 5,000 per day is not 5,000 per day is misleading. Just because they word it in a less direct, convoluted way is neither here nor there. The gal writes, we all read the bill. Yes, it says 5K a day. Or 8,500, whatever that was. Rawls writes, Rawls writes, did you read it, Coin? I don't think this is Coin. This is Channel 8, right? I mean, they all blend in. So they're all the same. Pix Pockets writes, yeah, it's much higher than that. Pillock 1966 writes, yes, hyperbola abounds. Although, his is closer to the truth than how MSN presents it. Unigan writes, Canadians or Mexicans, only 5K of you. The rest, you're okay. You don't count. Good thing it's dead. Yeah. So it's people from Mexico or Canada, huh? So they don't really count anybody else. Is that what it's about? Rebecca 81 USA writes, this girl's always got some good shit to say. It's true, but more than 5,000. Shut the fuck up, KGW. You are fake news. I like reading her stuff. She's always funny. Steve Carlson. No, it's not. It's not misleading. Tour Oregon. Trump 2024 can't come soon enough. You right about that. Wanders says, doesn't sound misleading to me. This bill would start deporting the illegal invasion after inflow of 5K per day. That's 5,000 undocumented criminals being explicitly allowed into our country a day. Fred G. Stanford writes, right, the number is actually higher if you read the bill. Yeah, that's what I thought. Slot Guy says, about as misleading as your channel reporting to all Portlanders. Mount Hood Legacy was ground zero back in 2021 for COVID deaths. Oh, wait. You lied. Not misled. Living in a Conspiracy Theory writes, misleading is the media. And he's got a little meme here that says, mass invasion of a country is an act of war. A government failing to protect a country is an act of treason. It says right here. Article 4, Section 4 of our Constitution requires our government to protect and defend our borders. If government does not, the Constitution, by virtue of the named part herein authorizes the free citizens to defend themselves and their state in place of treasonous government. Note, in not defending our borders, government gives aid and comfort to a hostile foreign invasion, and this, under Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution, is properly labeled treason. At least some people read the Constitution. Jason writes, it's 5K from Mexico and Canada. The actual numbers would be higher for sure. Also, it's reporting like this while your station and all other corporate media is failing so hard. I can't wait until you all go under. Yeah. Yeah, it's time for independent media to just take over. A little meme here of his that shows how many people, how many viewers all these corporate media stations are losing. Steve says, don't care, still voting Trump. Yes, sir. Dave O says, why don't you tell people what the bill says instead of purposely lying to people? Yes, that's what it says. I mean, so it really seems like the only thing that Trump maybe misled people was because it's 5,000 average per day a week. And he said 5,000 per day, but it's the average of 5,000 per day per week. C.W. Bradley writes, Trump said something misleading? You don't say. Drink some more of that Kool-Aid there, homie. So far, you're the only one that disagrees with everybody else in the comments. That this news channel is just full of shit. And everybody who's here knows it because they've been lying about everything for like the last 5 freaking years. I wouldn't say everything. Don't sue me. Don't sue me. Maybe not everything. They sure are misleading though. JP says, so it's true, but you're wordsmithing to make it sound like it's not. That's exactly what they're doing. Hammerwagon says, oh, shut up already. Good idea. K-Ray writes, actually, it would be more because they wouldn't count illegal immigrants from countries contingent with ours. Do you think suddenly they could start counting accurately or stopping border crossings in areas they are not counting? Ken Hanging in the desert of Oregon says, this is why no one trusts the media anymore. JJJ writes, and of course he doesn't have a picture by his profile, because he doesn't stand by what he says, I'm assuming. Coward. You mean Trump lies? Go figure. Go figure. You don't got a profile picture. Fucking moron. Caveman writes, propaganda machine, KGW. They tell you the news so you don't have to think. Alpha Chino, Electric Boogaloo writes, says the inaccurate yellow journalism mass media conglomerate. That was a hard one for me. I went to school in Oregon too, so. KGW, ever wonder why nobody believes you? Your story is misinformational. Flat way of saying, you lie. Do a couple more and then we're done. I mean, R says, agents will have the opportunity to deport after 5,000 encounters per day, not including minors and contingent aliens, etc., who do not factor into the counting. Given the current demographics crossing, it will be significantly higher than 5,000 per day, likely multiples of. Misleading means it's true. They just need to tell you how to feel about that, says full name. Dan R. That's only 5K a day if you come from Mexico. All other countries are not counted in that number. Captain Penny says, probably because no one knows exactly whom or what is getting across the border. Yeah, it doesn't really count who they don't encounter, right? Happy and Go Lucky says, how come you don't fact check Biden? Don't want to piss off the bosses? Yeah. Island Forgiven? Leyland? Leland? Forgiven? Bergevin? No, 8,500 a day before they would divert them elsewhere. Yeah. Blue Star Berry 1 says, no more money for Ukraine. Yeah, what does Ukraine got to do with our borders? And why are we protecting their border from Russia, but not protecting ours? How come we don't just let 5,000 Russians per day into Ukraine, like they want to do here? And then after they average 5,000 per day, and then we'll deport them. All right, well, that's about enough for today. Oh, thanks for laughing, KGW. You're good at one thing, and that's making real good fucking. You're real good at making some pretty good comments in the comment section. Fucking shit news. Well, this has been WITS News. What is this shit news? And that was some shit news. Till next time.